Lincoln Ross Hall, an Australian veteran mountain climber, was on his second expedition to reach the summit of Mount Everest. On his way back down, he fell ill from altitude sickness and was reported as dead. But was he? Welcome to Survivor Archives. Lincoln Ross Hall was born in Canberra, Australia on the 19th of December 1955. He studied zoology at the Australian National University. He was married to wife Barbara Scanlon and had two sons named Dylan and Dorothy, and lived in the Blue Mountains, New South Wales, Australia, which makes total sense. Lincoln was a serious climber. He climbed Mount Everest in Nepal, Mount Minto in Antarctica, Annapurna in Nepal, Makalu on the China-Nepal border, and a pyramid in Indonesia. That's commitment. He was also an adventurer, author of 7 books, and a philanthropist who started an organisation called the Australian Himalayan Foundation, which is a charity that helps with improving the quality of people living in remote areas in the Himalaya. Lincoln was awarded the Medal of Honour of Australia in 1987 for his amazing achievements, and also won the Australia Geographic Society's Lifetime of Adventure Award in 2010. People like him make me feel like I have done nothing with my life. So back to Everest. Lincoln had actually climbed Mount Everest before. He was a part of the first Australian expedition in 1984 and successfully forged a new route. In 2006, when he was 50 years old, he made his second attempt and reached the summit. On his way down at about 8,700 metres, 28,000 feet altitude, Lincoln was suddenly struck with altitude sickness. It was suspected that he had something called cerebral edema, which is when you get an excess accumulation of fluid in the brain. This caused him to hallucinate and become confused. Lincoln was on the mountain with his Sherpas. Sherpas are a native ethnic group to the most mountainous regions of Nepal and assist mountaineers as guides on some of these treacherous endeavours. When Lincoln got sick, the Sherpas tried to rescue him for hours, but it was getting dark, their oxygen supplies were dwindling, and snow blindness, which is when your eyes are exposed to UV rays, was setting in. They waited with Lincoln for 2 hours trying to revive him before they realised he was not breathing and he had no pulse. The expedition leader, Alexander Abramov, radioed in and eventually ordered the guys to leave him there and to save themselves. Can you imagine how difficult it would have been to make that call? The Sherpas took his pack, water, clothing, head torch, oxygen, sleeping bag, beanie, gloves, and other practical items they could use. I mean, I get it, but it still doesn't feel right. All this time, Lincoln knew what was happening because he was not dead. So as the group left, he thought, I'm going to die. But in a miraculous feat of strength, Lincoln immediately thought, nope, I can't die because I am going back to my family. You see, he promised his wife and sons he would come back alive. So Lincoln began his breathing exercises, determined to make it until sunrise, hoping he would get some warmth from it and another group would find him. Meanwhile, while poor Lincoln is meditating and breathing on Mount Everest, rejecting death, the group he was with made their way down and released a statement announcing his death to his friends and family. Okay, so the next morning, about 12 hours later, another expedition set off to conquer Mount Everest. This group was led by American Daniel Mazza, and in his group was Canadian Andrew Brash, UK-born Miles Osborne, and Jangbu Sherpa. As they made their way up, they see Lincoln Hall, and this is how they described him. Sitting to our left, about 2 feet from a 10,000-foot drop, was a man, not dead, not sleeping, but sitting cross-legged in the process of changing his shirt. He had his downsuit unzipped to the waist, his arms out of the sleeves, was wearing no hat, no gloves, no sunglasses, and no oxygen mask. He was a gentleman, apparently lucid, who had spent the night without oxygen at approximately 8,600 meters without proper equipment and barely clothed and alive. Crazy. Daniel and his team abandoned their summit attempt and stayed with Lincoln to tend to him. They gave him water, oxygen, snacks, and radioed base camp for help. Remember Alexander Abramov, the one who told the Sherpas to leave Lincoln and save themselves? Well, when the news that Lincoln was alive was radioed in, he was shocked and launched a rescue effort that was unprecedented in scale. He sent 12 Sherpa guides to get him. Never in a million years did anyone think he would have survived at that altitude and in those freezing conditions. Approximately 5 people die each year on Mount Everest, and Lincoln himself said he saw 2 bodies when he reached the summit. So Lincoln was definitely the miraculous exception. Lincoln lost a toe and the tips of 8 fingers to frostbite, but this did not perturb this amazing person. He wrote 2 books about it, and there are quite a few documentaries too. So before we get to the sad part, can we just take a moment to appreciate this very blessed survival story? Okay, so there is a sad part. Unfortunately, Lincoln was later diagnosed with cancer, and only 6 years after his spectacular survival, he died on the 20th of March 2012 at the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital in Sydney, Australia. He was only 56 years old. He lived a short life, but a good one. Thanks for watching. So that I can get more survival stories out to you, I would really appreciate it if you would like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're on Facebook, please like and follow my page.